Let me show you a short clip now. This clip is from one of the greatest wrestling match in the Indian mythology between King Jarasandha and Bhim. So can you tell me which kingdom did King Jarasandha rule? It was the kingdom of Magadha according to Mahabharata. This is King Jarasandha and this is Bhim, between whom the great wrestling match was fought. Now Magadha in 600 BCE was one of the most important Mahajanapadas, having its capital at Rajgriha initially, which was then shifted to Patliputra. But in a span of 200 years, it rose to greater prominence and became one of the most important places. There are 5 causes basically which led to the rise of Magadha. That is, the presence of strong army, natural boundaries, dense forest, presence of rivers, and it was rich in minerals. So these are ranked in order of their importance. Now the 4 major Mahajanapadas were always in conflict with each other. So the Mahajanapadas had to protect themselves from the other Mahajanapadas intruding them. So Magadha had a very strong army which was trained and maintained regularly. So these armies helped in protecting them from the other Mahajanapadas from attacking them and helped to defeat the powers of the other Mahajanapadas. Now this army was also equipped with gigantic elephants. Now having this added extra benefit to the army of Magadha. Now the next reason for the rise of Magadha was the presence of rivers. So you already know that Magadha is a place between 2 rivers, Ganga and Son. From the river valley civilizations, you have already seen that the land near rivers is very fertile and hence agriculture can flourish. Now this agriculture can act as the main occupation of the people and bring wealth to them. Now the perennial rivers like Ganga and Son always act as a mode of trade and mode of transportation. So you see how trade also flourished in Magadha and brought prosperity to the kingdom. Now the next reason that caused the rise of Magadha was the presence of natural boundaries. You can see here in India, the natural boundaries are the Himalayas in the north and northeast, and we have 3 water bodies, the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean, which prevents intruders from invading our country. Now you all must have heard about the Great Wall of China. Can you tell me why the Great Wall of China was built? Yes, it was built to keep the pastorals away, but this was a man-made structure. But Magadha has been lucky because it had natural boundaries. Now what are the natural boundaries that we found near Magadha? Like mountains of Rajgriha. You know Rajgriha was the capital city of Magadha. So mountains of Rajgriha and also the rivers Ganga and Son. So these acted as natural boundaries and prevented the intruders from attacking the kingdom of Magadha. The next reason that caused the rise of Magadha was the presence of dense forest. Now what is the significance of having dense forest? With the forest products like timber, and having timbers we can always make wood house. Now what is the importance of having timbers and the wood house? So people can make houses and can live easily. Now there was another importance to these dense forests. Can you tell me? Remember, the army had gigantic elephants. So obviously these elephants would require place to live in, and forest, as you know, is a natural habitat. So these forests also acted as the habitat for the gigantic elephants, and the army could live in the wood houses. The forest also acted as a defense barrier. Now the last reason which caused the rise of Magadha was that the place was rich in minerals and especially was rich in iron. Now what is the importance of iron? Having iron, we can make tools and weapons, and these tools and weapons can help the army to be better equipped and to fight effectively and protect the kingdom. Now you must be thinking, we have already learnt about so many causes, but one point is still missing. Yes, I am talking about kings. The king who ruled the kingdoms. So, Magadha was ruled by several strong kings. One of them was Bimbisara, who established the Haryanka dynasty. He was the first king of the dynasty and ruled Magadha for 52 years from 544 to 492 BCE. And he established the capital of Magadha at Rajgriha. So when King Bimbisara ascended the throne, he was only 15 years old. Obviously, he was a child, but that did not stop him from being a great leader. He had great fighting skills since childhood, and thus he became a very able military general and occupied many regions. Like he also occupied the kingdom of Anga over here, which is a port town. So obviously conquering a port town means increased prosperity to the kingdom, and that added to the trade benefits and brought wealth to the kingdom. Till now, we have seen how King Bimbisara expanded his empire through military conquest, but he also had another way of expanding his kingdom, and that was through marriage. Yes, you heard it right. He expanded his kingdom through marriages. He used to marry princesses of different states and made those kingdoms allies of his own. He also got Kosala, Kashi and Vaishali and many other regions as gift of marriage from different kings. So you see how he acquired Kashi, Vaishali and Kosala into his own kingdom through marriage. So here you see how Magadha was before expansion in 600 BCE. So this is a very small region. But when King Bimbisara ascended the throne and ruled from 544 to 592 BCE, he acquired this much position. He expanded his territory. Now King Bimbisara was a contemporary of both Mahavir and Buddha, and he respected Buddhism and Jainism equally. However, later in his life, he became highly influenced with Buddhism and hence decided to convert himself to Buddhism. In this picture, you see King Bimbisara is welcoming a person. Now this person is evidently Lord Buddha. In this picture, you can see how King Bimbisara is listening to sermons given by Buddha. Hence, you can obviously understand how he was so influenced by Buddhism and became a disciple. But later on his life, he was unfortunately killed by his own son, Ajatashatru. Now, Ajatashatru meant one whose enemies don't exist, and he was born to King Bimbisara and his Kosala queen. Remember, Kosala he got through marriage. So he was born to Bimbisara and his Kosala queen Chelena. Now King Ajatashatru ruled Magadha between 492 to 460 BCE, and he shifted the capital from Rajgriha to Patliputra, which is now modern day Patna, and very interestingly Patna still serves as the capital of Bihar. Not only this, King Ajatashatru is mostly known for his military conquest. He believed in expansionism and he managed to win more than 300 battles in a span of just 30 years. So you can see how he ruled and expanded his territory. Two of his greatest conquests were Vaishali. Where is Vaishali? In the Republic of Vajji, and his maternal grandfather's kingdom of Kosala. Apart from being a great military general and an expansionist, he was a great inventor too. Now you must be thinking, what did he invent? So you can see here is a chariot. A normal chariot has one horse, but here you can see there are two horses, which meant greater speed. And in the wheels you can see sword. While moving, this sword will kill the enemy. So you see how he invented a different type of chariot. Now this was a type of scythe chariot, first of its kind, and this is known as Ratha Musala. He also invented another kind of weapon that was known as Mahashilakantaka. Now this is a kind of catapult. He was very interested in catapults. So from here you see huge stones were used to be thrown. You can obviously relate it to the modern day cannons. King Ajatashatru himself did not follow Buddhism or Jainism, but he respected, and many people under his rule followed Buddhism and Jainism. A Buddhist council was also held under his rule. So this you can see is the Saptaparni caves at Rajgriha. So this is the place where the Buddhist council was held under his rule. So you see how Ajatashatru expanded the territory from a small region of Rajgriha to this much portion. So you see how under King Bimbisara only small portions of Rajgriha were there under the Magadha Empire, but under King Ajatashatru the kingdom expanded to further regions beyond Magadha. Now the rulers after King Ajatashatru could not succeed properly. They were not such great rulers, which led to the fall of the Haryanka dynasty. And this Haryanka dynasty was then taken over by Shishunaga dynasty. Now the Shishunaga dynasty was further taken over by the Nanda dynasty by Mahapadma Nanda. And at this same time, the world was seeing its one of the greatest conqueror, Alexander. Alexander had already planned to invade India, and at that time Alexander took over the northwestern regions of India. His invasion led India to pave way for trade routes to foreign countries, especially to Macedonia. However, sometime later, the northwestern region became weakened after Alexander left. This paved the way for the establishment of the Mauryan Empire, which went on to become one of the most important empires of India. Now this modern empire was a pan-India empire. So you see how a small region of Rajgriha expanded under different rulers like Bimbisara, like Ajatashatru took it even further, and after Ajatashatru, Shishunagas dynasty taken over beyond to different regions, and the Nandas took over the Shishunaga, and the Nanda dynasty was again took over by Chandragupta Maurya, and Chandragupta Maurya went on to conquer many different parts and included most of the regions of India under his own empire. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app and get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology, get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.